Okay, we're on.
So, you've been roommates together for around half a year, renting this shoddy little apartment in Brighton, which is like western Boston. Um, Harvard College is just northeast from where you are. Um, but 3 months ago, an old teacher of yours moved into your apartment, a Mr. Ellsworth, who back when you were in college, you took his course just to earn some credits. He did a course in architecture, and he talked a lot about the principles of sacred geometry and other kind of heebie-jeebie nonsense during his course. Some of you may have taken what he taught to heart. Some of you may have just brushed it off. But he did take a liking to you at the course and during the semester, and perhaps you took a liking to him too. At the end of the semester, he was diagnosed with cancer and stopped teaching and left Boston. Haven't seen him in a couple of years now. Beth, you remember the day when you first saw him again? You were in between jobs at the time, and so you were home most of the time while Yuko and Raven were out at their jobs. And you heard a knock on the door.
Uh,
Wait, whoa.
Before I get there, I think the idea of um, what we were talking about, some kind of geometry, some kind of esoteric geometry was the focus of some of his work, some of the things that he taught.
Indeed, yeah.
I'm thinking that is something that definitely goes with my character's idea of, working with virtual reality and trying to scare people with, you know, virtual worlds. Unusual geometry would probably be very interesting to her.
Yeah, yeah, it very much would.
Cool.
So while you're just kind of hanging around the house, you hear a knock on the door. Would you care to describe your character? And actually, why don't you describe what her room looks like? And then maybe all of you could jump in on describing your apartment in general.
Let's see. Well, um, Beth is African American. She has kind of smiling kind of cheeks kind of thing going on. She's always got, dimples going on. And she is usually adorned with at least one or two things, from African American studies, just to, kind of Wakanda forever, that kind of stuff. And she probably has some, feminist bumper stickers on her car, so she probably has some feminist things in her room. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty and stuff, so I'm thinking um, there's probably some projects, um, projects involving books and notebooks, and she's probably got, like 4 or 5 computers, or at least items that uh, screens in her room, since that's important to her career wise and such. She's not particularly, skinny. She's not particularly overweight. Um, she's got the chubby cheeks. Does that give you enough? Is there more? I give you enough?
Yeah, that's enough.
Well, I guess she'll answer the door if she's the one who hears it.
You open the door and come face to face with the scowling mug of Margaret, your landlord. It's time to pay up, deadbeat. Her hair is up in like curls on the side, and it looks like she just woke up, despite the fact that it's well past noon. And rent is indeed due today. Unfortunately, you haven't been able to find work. Halloween is way past, so Raven hasn't made much money, and Yuko hasn't pulled in any new contracts in a long time. So you are actually $400 short. What do you do?
Well, I guess I have this a pretty good empathy skill, so I want to be very diplomatic and express that I understand that she needs this and she needs it now, and that she's been very kind to us in the past about this timing. That if she just give us a couple more days, we would be able to help her with this, and if she would like, we are certainly, this is how much we've put together right now, and we're gonna find, we're gonna sell blood if we have to get you what you need in the next couple days.
You better. She snatches the money from your hand, kind of counts it out really quick, and then sticks it down her shirt.
Thanks, Margaret. I really appreciate this. We're gonna get
pay
this
off
job.
by the end of the month. You hear me? Next month,
before I pay my
the rest of what you owe. $1,200. You got it?
1,200. I guess I got it.
You better. Don't make me throw you out on your ass. No, and then she reaches into she reaches, grabs the doorknob, and slams the door closed, somehow slamming your door in your face.
Thanks, Margaret. Where are my roommates?
Yuko is at the office, and Raven would be at her store. It's around 2 p.m.
Okay, I will shoot emails to my colleagues then, my roomies, and say we got to figure out something. And I'm gonna go on eBay and see if I can't, sell some of these old computers I have, maybe.
Okay.
Kind of classics.
You send out the emails, and you're about to jump on eBay when you hear another knock on the door.
just a moment. I'm gonna. Okay, if it's Margaret again, I can take it. I'm an independent black woman. Okay. I will answer the door with the same smile as I had earlier, if possible.
And on the other side of the door, you see an old man kind of hunched over on a cane. White guy, with thin graying hair and a wrinkling face that immediately kind of brightens up as he looks at you, smiling. Beth? Oh, dearie me. Beth, is that you? You recognize him as Elsworth, your old teacher.
Professor?
Yes.
You weren't even looking for me? What a small world. What's going on? Come on in.
Oh, well, you see, I just moved in. You may have seen the movers bringing boxes up just yesterday. And, well, I haven't had time to unpack anything, and I was trying to hang a picture, but I can't get it quite right. I was just wondering if one of my neighbors might help me. I certainly didn't expect to bump into you. How have you been these past few years?
Oh, well, I mean, I've really enjoyed, putting my work to good use, but everything's so theoretical now, and I unfortunately don't have, I guess my artistic license is more important to me than than actually getting a job that pays things regularly. So actually, I think my roommates are gonna have to have an intervention with me and tell me to get rid of some of my extra screens and stuff to help help pay the rent.
Oh, you're having money trouble, so I'm sorry to hear that, kiddo.
Oh well, I'm the right age for that, right?
Well, yeah, I suppose that's true.
I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'd be happy to help you. It's not like a huge picture, right? You don't need more than two hands, do you?
No, no, I think you could lift it, and I may be able to give you a little bit of money to help me unpack some of my belongings.
Well, I'm not going to say no at this point. At least my landlady won't say no either. So, but no, I'm willing to help even if you don't have extra cash lying around.
Oh, I'm sure I have something laying around. Come on, kiddo. He starts hobbling down the hallway.
I will escort him.
As you're heading down the hallway, he asks, "So, who are your roommates?"
Actually, I think they were both in one of your classes. There's Raven and I
Oh,
have
oh, Raven, I remember her. Great kid, good kid. Yeah.
and I have already lost my note.
Yuko. Yuko.
And Yuko.
Oh, Yuko. Oh, you all stuck together. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, well, it's always better to have three independent women together.
He gets down to his room is down at the end of the hall from yours, and he unlocks the door and walks in. Inside is an apartment, very much same layout as yours, but there are just boxes just heaped everywhere, stacks of newspapers. You see in the kitchen a tall white kid, maybe 20 at most, with long kind of greasy hair. He's in there kind of doing the dishes. Oh, Beth, meet Richard. He's my live-in nurse.
Nice to meet you, Richard.
So he doesn't even look up from doing the dishes.
Yeah, that's basically what my roommates do when I introduce new people. Very busy. Everyone's so busy. So you just have the nurse. You don't have like any roommates.
Say that again. Sorry.
So you don't have any roommates. You just have the nurse.
Oh yeah, it's just me and Richard.
Boy, I wish. In some ways, I wish there was only two in mine because that'd be cool to have extra space for stuff. But then again, I guess we'd have to pick which one of my roommates wouldn't be with us anymore, and I wouldn't want that either.
He kind of nods along with what you're saying. Oh, picture is right over here. It's it is a small picture of a photo of the Boston Public Library.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yes, I designed it.
Really?
Indeed I did. Indeed I did. One of my proudest accomplishments.
Well, I've been there more times than I've been there a lot.
Oh, it's they renovated it, tore it down, built something a bit more modern, a bit more newer. Years ago, and it was never the same. But good on you for going to the library. A public resource that more kids your age ought to take advantage of.
Yeah, there's a lot of smart people there too, which is a lot better to talk to. I gotta tell you, it's really nice to have some. It's gonna be nice having you as a neighbor, so I can have some smart conversations about some of that cool graphics work that I was telling you. I really wanted to use your work if possible.
Oh yes, of course. Come over anytime. Anytime at all, dear. You understand. Just now, this picture, I can't seem to get it. It's always tilted slightly. It's like this building. I'll tell you what. This building was not designed by me. Everything's at a slant.
Yeah, are you telling me? Let's see. Got like a level or something?
He does, and he has to dig around in a box for a bit, but he finds it and he hands it to you.
Cool. Well, I kind of have an eye for this kind of stuff. Got my artistry. Let's see.
And you know what? No matter what you do, it's always at just the slightest of a tilt. And Elsworth just kind of like tuts and shakes his head. Bad design in this building. Bad design.
I wonder.
Bad design. It breeds a bad resonance. And that can bring all sorts of trouble. All sorts.
I wonder if it's enough of a variance that it like might bring chills up people's spines when they come in here. I haven't actually noticed that in my apartment.
Most people don't, but it can. The buildings we live in, the way they're constructed, it reflects into us almost. If a building isn't properly laid out, it can have all sorts of detrimental effects on one's psyche, on one's mind.
Well, I know a couple places in town. If you would like, we can find some decor to somehow change that variance a little bit. Reconstruct the inner side, even if we can't affect the outer side.
Perhaps. Personally, I'm getting too old for a lot of this stuff.
What, for too much stuff? I can hear you there. Hey, are you doing anything for dinner tonight?
Oh, well, I haven't really thought about dinner.
Oh, well, let us make you some dinner. I'll let your other students know. And we'll have like a little get together tonight. What do you think?
Oh, well, that would be great.
And I'll say, and of course and Richard, of course, if he's around, is obviously welcome to join us for some food.
Oh, I'm sure he'll join us.
Great. I will use my smartphone to communicate with my colleagues, my roomies, and explain the situation and the good news.
So he comes over later that night, and you all get together and get to meet him. And over the course of the next 3 months, he becomes a fairly regular fixture in your life. Yuko, you remember, you head out fairly early in the morning, and actually describe your character.
Yuko, I'm going to say, stands at perhaps 5'5". She tends to dress in darker colors. She has this almost like a sort of like a biker's jacket almost that she wears all the time, especially in the cold winters of Boston. She dresses quite heavily, and she has this long shoulder-length black hair with a sort of like sheen that comes off of it in the right sort of light. But she looks unhealthy, lethargic, tired all the time. Oftentimes around the house, in fact, Beth and Raven would rarely see her awake, I would imagine. She's almost like a ghost to them. You know, perhaps even catching them off guard when she comes home, or like gets up for something.
The roommate that you never see.
Pretty much.
You leave pretty early in the morning to head out to the office. You've had a lot of trouble recently finding like any kind of clients or any kind of work, really. And as you're passing, as you're walking down the hallway, you see Elsworth coming up the stairway, and he smiles. "Oh, Yuko, you're up early."
Sensei, are you alright? I bow slightly.
"Oh, you don't need to do that with me, kid."
But you're my teacher.
"Well, I suppose I was once, yes."
Once you're someone's teacher, you never really stop being their teacher. I don't think so, at least.
Perhaps.
Is there something that I can help you with?
"Oh, I was just going for a walk. Gotta limber up those joints early in the morning, you know?"
Would you like for me to join you? I have a bit of time before I could go into the office.
Sure.
Where were you walking to?
"Oh, well, I was just coming back to my room, but would you like to come in and have some tea?"
Sure, if you would have me.
So he leads the way to his room, and he makes you some tea. It's Earl Grey.
Thank you, I say, as I begin to sip on the tea.
So out of game question, how long has it been since that day at the gymnasium?
She was attacked when she was 17, and she is 25 currently. So 8 years, if I'm doing my math correctly?
Okay, yeah, that works. So you went out and you got that law degree.
I did, yes.
That couldn't have been easy. I'm proud of you, kiddo.
I did it because I had to.
Not because you wanted to.
They were one and
You
the same.
not find enjoyment in your field?
Oh no, I do. My obligation and my desire, they're one and the same. Don't you feel the same? Weren't you drawn to what you do? And doesn't
Oh,
it...
in many ways, darling. In many ways.
And I just sort of like begin to wave my hand around in emotion, my free hand, holding the tea in my other hand. Doesn't your being a teacher line up with your desire as well?
Oh, truth be told, I was always more comfortable designing than I was teaching. I miss those days.
Why did you decide to be a teacher then?
Well, it's just getting old, mostly.
I see.
Decided to let the young blood have a go.
I think that you should be respected. You know, they always say that you should fear a man who reaches a ripe old age rather than a young fellow.
Oh. So you guys talk for a little bit longer, and Eventually, he sees you out, and you head on your way into the cold morning air of Boston.
As I leave, I give him another bow. Thank you, Sensei.
Of course, anytime.
I hope you have a good day. And I try to put on my friendliest looking face, basically, as I make my way to the office.
You be careful out there. A dangerous world.
Of course.
More time passed, and Raven, you actually found that Elsworth, he came by your shop a few times, which surprised you. Although perhaps it shouldn't have, considering his interests. Would you care to describe your character as well as what your shop looks like?
Raven is 33 and is she has dreadlocks with like beads in them and stuff, and dresses very kind of gypsy ish. Lots of hemp jewelry kinds of things like that, and usually has like a long skirt on stuff. She's small, very petite. And her shop is it's a kind of a new agey bookstore kind of a thing, but with like lots of stones and herbs and tarot cards and things like that as well. Thing.
Alright.
So Ellsworth, he walks in through the front door, and his face lights up in that kind of almost like a slanted kind of smile that he has.
And is this the first time he's been there?
Yes.
All
this is happening past tense, essentially. We're okay. Skipping around a little bit till we get to the present.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was on the same page as you. So Raven looks, kind of looks up and is, is kind of prepared to give her, her kind of, customer service grin and welcome to the store or whatever. And then she recognizes him, so she, looks a little surprised and is like, "Oh, well, fancy meeting you here, and, how are you?"
Oh, I was just in the neighborhood and asked Richard to drive me over. Richard walks in behind him. He's on his phone, not paying any attention.
Okay. So I kind of just nod politely at Richard since he's on his phone. I don't want to interrupt him, but and I smile and I say, delighted that you decided to come in, and is there anything I can help you with, or did you just want to look around?
Oh, I've always been more accustomed to the teachings of sacred geometry I've never really branched out into the other studies of the occult. Perhaps I should have. I was wondering, do you have anything for improving one's health?
Oh, certainly. I have plenty of things. Are you looking for books specifically or remedies, herbal or stones or what kinds of things are you looking for?
Oh, I wouldn't know where to begin, dearie. What do you recommend?
Well, I would definitely recommend, some some herbal teas that would, that are great for just general health and stuff and certainly surrounding yourself with good energy is important. So, having some good stones for that kind of thing and some colors, using the colors and stuff. And we can definitely look at some feng shui options that might be good for you. Is there anything specific that is ailing? We can kind of focus in on real specific area, or we can kind of look at general health kinds of things. Would you mind telling me what it is that you're feeling? Um,
Well, you know I have cancer, don't you,
hmm
dear?
Yes.
Cancer,
Okay, and the
and
liver specifically, yes.
specifically, yes.
And she starts getting out some books from behind the counter and kind of looking some things up and kind of mumbling to herself and taking some notes on some different kinds of, stones and things like that are good and for specifically for the liver and that kind of thing. So she shows him some of that stuff and just very very talkative the whole time about telling him exactly what kinds of stones and how he should use them and the herbs and how to make the tea and all that stuff.
As he's kind of like, you're like, just like, kind of like, throwing all this information at him, and he's just kind of like staring at you, wide-eyed, like nodding along. But you can tell it's just like all going over his head. And his eyes like start to kind of like drift off, and they linger on a tarot deck you have laying on the counter. Oh, is that the tarot?
Oh yes, yes, that's a tarot deck. Have you ever had a reading? Are you familiar with tarot?
No, no, I haven't. Would you be willing to?
Certainly, I could give you a reading if you'd like.
Yes, yes, I think I would like that. Richard, I'm going to get a reading. Cool. He barely looks up from his phone.
So she takes him over to the
Oh,
corner.
exciting.
She takes him over to the corner of the store where she has a little table set up with two chairs and kind of a starry tablecloth and whatever, and it's got uh, some crystals on it and things like that, and some candles. And she has him sit down and she tells him she hands the deck to him and tells him that he should shuffle the deck and move the cards around however he feels and just kind of relax himself and concentrate on what kinds of questions he has for the cards.
He nods and he picks up the deck and like gets ready to shuffle it, and then just kind of like stops, kind of nods. No, no, this feels right. He hands it back to you without shuffling it.
Oh, okay. You don't want to shuffle it at all? Well, good.
No, I trust what the fates have in store.
Okay, so Raven spreads out the cards, the top several cards in kind of this star formation and it turns them all over and kind of just like kind of floats her hand over the card, kind of, just like half an inch off the table, and closes her eyes and breathes in really deep, and to try to kind of get the energy of the cards. That
Then you're
sound is the
muted.
energy of the cards, evidently. Cards are really speaking to me. And she does a lot of, okay, what's all right. And
The first card you draw is Death.
excellent.
Is that like a change?
Yes, death is yes, it's a change. It's the death of something, beginning of something else.
Death of cancer. Death of cancer.
Yes. But
You draw that, and kind of like he sees the Green Reaper and the words "death" on it, and kind of just nods and smiles sadly.
and I notice that, but I tell him, that's not necessarily what the card means, and that it is kind of a scary kind of looking card, but that's not necessarily what it means. But that we kind of have to lay all the cards out and then say what they, see what they say collectively.
All right. So you lay the cards out, and it's all very you're not really sure how to interpret it. It's very a lot of great change and a bit of an ominous aura.
I'm trying to think of. So what is his? I have aura reading, and so what is? So I should be able to tell kind of what his general emotional state is.
Yeah, let me pull that up really quick. Okay, aura reading.
So it says spend a point of willpower and roll wits plus empathy minus the subject's composure.
Indeed. Let's see here. His composure is 3.
Willpower, wits plus empathy. I have too many windows open. Wits plus empathy. Empathy. 2. Okay. So I got 3, one of them was a 10, so I got 4 successes.
Cool.
And so then it says,
For every success, ask the subject's player one of the following questions. Alternatively, take a +1 on social rolls against the character during the same scene. And the questions are: what's your what's your character's most prominent emotion? Is your character telling the truth? What is your character's attention most focused on right now? Is your character going to attack? What emotion is your character trying to hide? Is your character supernatural or otherwise not human?
Okay, so
And if you have other questions about him and his emotional state, you can ask those as well.
I think I definitely want to say what's the most prominent, what's his prominent emotion?
His most prominent emotion is regret.
Okay. And then what is his attention most focused on right now? I like that question.
The death card and what it could mean for his future.
Okay. And then what emotion is he trying to hide? Trying to most hide?
Fear.
Okay. Right. I don't think this is a situation where she would be too worried about him attacking.
I could always beat you to death with a cane.
Maybe. I don't feel like Raven would think that that was going to happen right now. So, let's see. Can I, as like my fourth question, can I get a little more about like what he's regretful about? You know what I mean? Not like, too specific, but
for a moment, so as you stare into his aura, the flickering shades of colors that are just on the boundaries of his soul, for a moment it almost seems to coalesce into a vision. You see frozen pipes and then a glimpse of a funeral. And the vision fades.
okay. Okay, so Raven would talk to him then about the reading, about that, she definitely sees a lot of change coming, some big change coming, that it doesn't necessarily, that does not necessarily equate with death for sure. She will kind of talk about in a way that tries to kind of, she can sense a kind of a fear, the fear in him, and that concentration on the death card. So talk to him, a little bit about, a fear of dying, and and things that he may have done differently or whatever, and that kind of stuff. So she kind of will just really try to be empathetic about those emotions with him and stuff like that, and let him know that it's not too late to change things, some things that,
He
or
just
to
laughs when you
make
said
reprimand for it or whatever, and that kind of stuff.
No, I appreciate that, kiddo, but my course is laid.
Well,
he gets up and thank you for doing this. I'll take one of those books on the liver.
Okay. And so she gets him the book, and rings the book up, and then she and then she tells him to hold on for just a minute, and she kind of rifles through some things, and then gets out a piece of bloodstone and gives it to him and tells him that this is, bloodstone is especially good with those kinds of that system of the body and the blood and all that stuff with the liver, and so she to just keep it in his pocket and keep it with him, and maybe that will help.
Oh, that's sweet of you, kiddo. He takes the stone, and he pays you twice as much as what the total cost is. And just consider it a tip.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Does he pay cash?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And I will say, I forgot to mention this, but he paid Beth like $120 for helping him unpack some stuff and set up the apartment. Set up the painting or photo. And that was also in cash.
Okay. I was thinking I could use. I don't think it would work though. The psychometry on money, because that changes hands too much. So I don't think it would really work for that.
Oh yeah, you have that too, don't you?
Yeah, it doesn't. It says it's going to perceive like the most intense emotions or whatever moments tied to the item, so that wouldn't necessarily be his. So I might see something, but it wouldn't necessarily mean it had anything to do with him, so
yeah,
because money is something that changes hands so much. So yeah, so I don't think it would work, so it's probably not worth doing.
So all these moments of the first time you met him, or not just the first times you met him, but all these moments kind of rush to your mind, these quiet moments that you had with him while you guys were living in the same building. They all come kind of rushing to your mind as one night the fire alarm goes off and it all starts kind of smelling smoke. It's not in your apartment. You go to the window and you see smoke pouring out from Mr. Elsworth's apartment.
I'm gonna say Yuko is gonna go in, try to get him, if possible. Unless it's literally pouring flames out.
No, you don't see any flames, but there is a lot of smoke coming out through the open window.
Then yeah, I'm gonna go in.
Okay, so you turn and you run out into the hallway. What's Raven and Beth doing?
I feel like I would probably go in after him as well. I'd be very concerned. But then I don't know. I would have, I would also be needing to get Tobias out of the building. So it's I don't know.
Describe Tobias really quickly.
Tobias is my huge monitor lizard, who he's very large. Like, he wears a collar, and I take him out on a leash.
Nice. So as Yuko and Raven turn and run into the hallway, Beth, you're about to join them or do whatever, when suddenly you see a man jump out of the window to Elsworth's house. He's wearing jeans and a black hoodie, and he jumps down from the 2-story window, lands in the parking lot, and starts just taking off down the street at a sprint.
And that's from the professor's place?
Yes, out of the professor's window.
Oh, I'm pissed. I'm running after this guy.
Do we see this as well? Does Yuko or?
Nope, only the last person who was.
Okay.
So are you also jumping out the window, or are you going into the hallway and trying to get down the stairs?
I'm pretty good at climbing, so I think I'll follow after him. However, I can to use parts of the building and climbing holds and such.
Okay. Give me an athletics dexterity.
So I have climbing as a specialty. Do I get that as a bonus in this case?
So you're climbing down, right? You're not like jumping.
I'm right. I mean, there's only one extra story, right? So at some point I'll be able to drop.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, your climbing would apply to this.
So Dex plus athletics plus climbing is 5D. And that's 8, 9, 10 are successes.
Yes.
So 1 success.
That's enough. You get down to the parking lot without without hurting yourself. It's late out, and most of the houses have their lights turned off. It's like midnight, so it's really dark out and beginning to rain.
All right. Well,
You see the guy's silhouette running, taking off down the street, and you take off in pursuit. Meanwhile, Yuko and Raven, you guys burst out into the hallway where your neighbor from across the hall, a little black lady, is standing out in the hallway, staring in horror as smoke billows out from underneath Elsworth's door. She turns to you and she turns to Yuko as you come out into the hallway, and she says, "I saw Richard leave. He's in there by himself."
I look to her. Get yourself out of here. We're going to get him.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to try to... at this point, I know that the handle is probably like searing hot if the flames are like really intense in there. So
when you get to the door, you see the handle has actually been broken off, and the door has been like kicked in.
Oh shit! I like instantly take note of this. I'm gonna take my pistol off my side instantly.
What's Raven doing?
I am behind Yukio, I think, and just I see the door, and I'm just surprised and trying to kind of push in, but I don't think that I carry my gun with me, so I'll have that.
So you guys push your way into the apartment, and you see that like this pile of newspapers in the living room is on fire.
Is there an extinguisher nearby? I know most apartments have extinguishers. Could I do a wits?
Yes, there would actually be one in the hallway. The second thing you see is Elsworth in his armchair, just kind of slumped over.
Okay.
There is like plaster dust like all over the floor, and like bits of wall and wood just like strewn about everywhere.
Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is...
And actually, give me a sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off,
It's
but
okay.
give me a wits composure roll.
Hey, that is
And
my
Raven-
specialty.
Raven, give me a wits composure roll as well.
Okay.
Okay, wits composure roll. Question. Does this have anything to do with danger?
What do you mean by that? How do you?
My danger sense gives me +2 on reflexive will. Wits
No,
composure.
this has nothing to do with danger.
Okay, got it. Okay, wits plus composure. So that's 4, 5, 6.
That's like if you're about to get ambushed or something, right?
Hey, I don't know what's going on in this house.
I
Okay.
got 3.
Okay, I got 2 10s, so that's 2 successes, and then I got to roll 2 more times, and then a 9, so 3 successes total.
Okay, so you both you're like crunching over all this like wood and plaster and shit, and you're just like looking around like, where did all this shit come from? Because the fire hasn't really spread from beyond a few stacks of newspapers. There's barely any damage to the walls. You're not sure where all this shit came from.
The first thing Yuko is going to do is she's going to grab that fire extinguisher and put this fire out before it spreads any further.
Okay. You go back out into the hall and smash the glass and pull the fire extinguisher out. What's Raven doing?
Raven would go to Elsworth and be trying to assess, first of all, whether he was still with us, and
He's not breathing.
he's not breathing. Then she would begin CPR. So she would take him onto the floor, like kind of just drag him onto the floor any way she could, and then start.
And as you do this, Yuko comes back in and puts out the fire, hoses the newspapers down with the fire extinguisher.
And I'll yell to Yuko that he's not breathing, and so call 911.
When she says that, I take my phone out of my pocket and I call and get a hold of them.
Okay. Meanwhile, back out in the streets, as Beth pursues the mysterious figure, he turns and he cuts through an alley.
Come back, you coward!
Give me a athletics. Actually, no, stamina athletics. Yeah. And it's going to it's going to be at a -2 penalty due to the darkness and just like all the trash and strewn about the alleyway.
Okay, my relentless merit gives me a +2 on chases.
And that would apply here.
So I guess I just a straight roll then. No pluses, no minuses. They cancel each other out. That makes sense? All right. And then I have, fleet of foot for speed purposes. I don't know how the chase system works, but I will roll those 5 dice. Having told you all possible permutations. Let's see. That is 1 success.
Isn't the 0? Isn't the 0 is the 10,
No.
right?
No, that's you can add a plus.
Oh,
to your
I see what you're saying.
modifier. So that's
Gotcha.
1 success. 1 success?
1 second.
You didn't put actually, it's fun. You have that same kind of preference. You can feel free to use any of them that you'd like. I have this fun one.
Sorry, I'm getting interrupted. 1 sec.
And these are merely, my favorites of my D10s. more. Just like
Nice.
I have
Sorry, I'm trying to find the
Never say that,
stats for this guy.
Always one.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
looking for stats for the guy. Got it. My picture didn't change. See, it changed like if I, go to Google, it changed. But it didn't change on the Hangouts, even though I left and then came back. It's an asshole. Google Hangouts is an asshole. You okay. I'm just grabbing that for you.
Okay.
Did you see the thing underneath it?
Okay, so this is an extended contested roll. So you manage to kind of keep pace, keep it in sight. As you rush through the alleyway, and so now we need to make another roll.
One.
2. Oh,
That's a 6.
That's
That's
6.
1. Consistency.
Damn. Well, he got 2 successes. So you get down the street and you've lost sight of him, but you can still hear his like sneakers squeaking on the sidewalk. Give me one final roll.
Ooh. 3 success.
Wow.
Yeah, you keep running.
And so he does.
Okay, so you manage to you run down the street and you see him cutting down another alley. And as you chase after him, you begin to gain on him until he's almost in arm's reach.
If we're still going down alleyways and stuff, I'd really like to get close enough to just shove him against the wall and hope that his speed, collides him with the wall in such a way that he will fall prone, and I can really start giving him the business.
Yeah, so you get in there and you manage to give him a good shove from behind, and he stumbles forward, and all this like white powder comes like pouring out from underneath the hood of it, the hood of his hoodie, and he then kind of just like deflates and crumples to the ground. A pile of clothing with this white powder kind of like billowing out from the sleeves and hood.
I will drop to one knee, assuming that I have brain damage somehow from not taking in enough oxygen, and I'll keep an eye on that and hope that the illusion goes away and I start seeing straight.
The wind blows and the powder
Here's your
kind of like.
reminder.
What
It's
the
time
fuck
for
is that?
Ellen to get to bed.
What is
sorry,
that?
That is my Alexa. I'm sorry. She's going to tell me one more time that it's time for me to put my daughter to bed.
Time for Ellen to get to bed.
And now she'll be quiet again until 9:15 when she tells me it's time to take my medicine. So that's,
Okay, cool. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, where did that come from?
sorry.
Okay.
Alexa wants to play.
Yeah, the wind blows and this old like powder kind of like billows up into the air. You're pretty sure it's asbestos.
What the fuck?
You notice like little chunks of wood and the plaster sticking out from where his arms would have been.
All right. Well, she'll sit back on her ass now and just try to take in the weirdness of the situation and catch her breath. She was gonna like call 911, but what would that accomplish now? She'll take the. Yeah, I guess I'll wrap the clothes under an arm and try to go back to the apartment complex, a little dazed and confused.
All right. You get back to the apartment complex just in time to see them loading Elsworth onto a ambulance. Yuko and Raven are standing out front, along with most of the other residents of the complex.
Is Richard in the ambulance as well?
No, you don't see him.
I will see if they'll let me come with.
The paramedic kind of like turns around, kind of looks at you. Ma'am, please stay back.
Oh, all right. Doesn't somebody need to go with you guys, like a family or somebody to?
Are you
find
family?
it? Yes, I am.
Make a subterfuge manipulation roll.
I'd just like to say that I do have Tobias on his leash out here with us because I'm afraid that, there's smoke up there. I don't want him to.
Yeah, no, obviously he's there with you.
I have two cool merits that might apply, as apparently everything so far has, which is cool. So I have closed book, and it says it adds dots to the number of doors needed in a social assessment shit. And then there's untouchable, which rolls to investigate my deeds, need an exceptional success. So there's that going on. What's that?
Say that again.
The untouchable one, it says in order to investigate my evil deeds that they must achieve exceptional success.
Evil deeds, what?
Well, I'm that
He might have thrown in the evil part.
yeah. It just says deeds, and I assume it has to, like, people don't usually investigate, deeds of good. Yeah. So
Sorry. What does that do again?
it says rolls to investigate the character's deeds must achieve an exceptional success.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've written down.
Okay. That wouldn't apply here.
Okay. So, what about the closed book? I don't have any idea what the doors mean.
That also wouldn't apply here.
Oh, well, excellent. So,
The door system is for like long-term persuasion, like trying to convince someone to write you into their will or something like that, rather than having like a single roll to determine whether they write you into their will or not. It's multiple conversations over a period of time.
gotcha. So I want you wanted subterfuge and
Manipulation.
Manipulation, yes. And they are in a bit of a rush, so it's going to be at a -3 penalty because he's not exactly interested in having a long conversation while the patient is dying.
-3.
oh. Do I get any bonus when I play the black card and say, "What? You don't think we're family because I'm black?"
No, you don't get a bonus from that.
Oh. Oh. All right, 3 successes.
Jesus Christ. He just got 4. I'm sorry, Benji. I'm sorry.
Can I try to assist, noticing that he is not believing her? Can I just, like, step in?
The paramedic got 9 successes.
I'm gonna do it anyways for role-playing purposes. I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna use my logical arguments, and I'm gonna say to him, if you don't let her go, she could sue you.
He just looks annoyed at this point, and he's like, "All of you, back off. We have to get out of here. Clear out of the parking lot. Go." And he slams the doors of the ambulance shut, and they begin driving off.
Rude.
Well, I mean, they are trying to like get this guy.
You know, save his life and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Blah blah blah. Whatever.
He must not care about being sued.
What? How many dice did he get to roll?
4.
Holy crap!
Yes,
4
and he got
dice,
9 successes. He just kept rolling 10s. I don't like. What the fuck?
He ain't
That's
taking.
crazy.
He ain't taking none of our bullshit.
Yeah. You could tell him the sky is blue, and he'd be like, "Fuck off."
Okay. So anyways, upon seeing, that he's gone, Yuko is immediately going to go back up to the to his apartment and begin investigating.
Okay.
I have to get past the firemen, I would think.
And she seems like, if Beth Raven were to like notice, she seems to be stepping with a sense of impatience, almost like she's like really going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing into my vice here of being too hasty.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Although I don't think you've gone through any willpower.
No,
but this is roll.
I haven't. It's just roleplay.
Cool.
Oh,
So you go in there. What are Beth and Raven doing?
that's nice. I'm currently sitting on the, just sitting on the curb and just talking in a low voice to Tobias about how everything is going to be okay, and watching his breathing to make sure that he has not inhaled too much smoke, and kind of doing this like kind of laying on of hands energy work with him.
All I can see is you like getting like puppy dog kisses from this monitor lizard. As its tongue just like flicks over your face.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Tobias is better than any boyfriend.
So Raven receives love from her lizard, and what is Beth doing?
She is going to follow Yukio
Come on, guys! Come
No,
on!
It's Yuko,
Oh
right?
my
Yuko.
god!
I said a Yukio first couple times too.
Oh
No,
my
you
God.
you have to have the same name as the character from Deadpool too.
Come on!
No, that's okay. Yuko. I will follow.
I mean, if
after
you want to say
Yuko.
that, that's like a pet name or a nickname, I am okay with this. But, come on.
I don't even know where Yukio came from. I mean, it must be a thing because it was in my head, but I don't
It's
know what it is.
and it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
She will follow after, but she's probably looking stunned again. She's got this strange powdery stuff and clothes like just nestled between her arm uh, and her side, and she's kind of walking rather than running up the stairs.
Okay. So you both enter the apartment.
as
and,
we enter, I say to, it's Beth, right?
Yeah.
I say to Beth, don't touch anything. This is a crime scene.
Yeah, no problem. In fact, I'll stay right out here, but
Technically, we shouldn't even be here, but rules are meant to be broken sometimes. And I begin my investigation.
well, I'll watch out for you, and I'll be loud if I see anybody coming.
So, give me a investigation wits roll.
Okay, I'm going to apply a thing of willpower as well.
Okay.
So that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 die. Let's go. 1, 2, 3 successes with 2 10s. So I got to go roll 2 more die. 4 successes.
Okay. Obviously the door was forced. A lot of the furniture in the living room has been knocked over. A lot of boxes have been flipped on their sides. It seems to indicate to you that at least some sort of scuffle happened in the living room.
I say this out loud. There was a fight. Elsworth, he didn't go down without a fight.
Look for powder.
I turned to Beth with a strange look on my face. Powder? What
There's
kind?
powder everywhere.
You mean this stuff on the floor? Where did this even come from? I say, looking around for any damage to the building where it could have fallen out of.
There's some soot on the walls, but there's no actual physical damage.
Why do I need to look for powder?
I chased down a guy who leapt from the building.
And at this point, I start to get kind of aggressive towards her, and I say, you didn't tell us this? You just ran off on your own towards some person?
He was running.
Yeah, and you were alone. You could have been attacked. You could have been killed.
Look, I assume the guy started the fire, and he's fucking gonna pay for it. But what's weirder is that it's a very odd situation. He had a lot of this powder on him. I think it's asbestos. I have no idea why that would be the case.
I'm gonna look for a container of some sort, like a jar or something.
Yeah, you find some jars in the kitchen.
I'm gonna scoop up some of the dust. Maybe Miss Riley has some sort of tool we can use to try and determine what this is. I say as I tighten the jar.
Perhaps. You did, you recall that you did actually receive a text from her earlier today saying that she was going to be out of town for the next couple days on business.
Who is
Whatever
Miss
that
Wright?
means.
If Yuko told you about her, I'm sure she did. She probably almost obsessively talks about her. It's her boss, basically.
Oh, okay. So it's just somebody we would know about because you talked about her.
Pretty much, just an acquaintance.
Okay.
To you guys, at least. Okay. So I continued, like, just musing to myself for a moment. Someone broke in, they fought, they set a fire, and then they left. Quickly. Something seems off. They could have set a much bigger fire. They could have done so much more to ensure that the crime scene was destroyed, but they didn't. It's almost like they wanted for us to find this, or for somebody to find it. But why?
Well, gets weirder than that. So I'll like show Yuko the clothes that I have. So I tackled the guy, and I can't explain exactly, but somehow I ended up with all of his clothes and this powder, and he like wasn't there anymore. I don't know if how one ditches their clothes like that, but it was weird. It was like, I don't know, like I shoved him, and then all was left was this powder and stuff. I must have misunderstood what happened. I just keep rubbing my head now.
Okay, I'm gonna take the jacket. I'm gonna just, like, look it over for a second, and I'm looking for any kind of hairs, or any other thing that I could use for DNA. Blood, whatever might be on there.
You find nothing.
Just a bunch of powder.
Just powder, wood, plaster chunks.
I'm gonna
They all
search.
just kind of like pours out of the coat, out of the hoodie and onto the floor as Beth hands it to you.
I'm gonna look in the pockets.
Nothing in the pockets.
We'll keep this for investigation material, but I don't think it's gonna be of any use to us.
Beth is immediately very, very impressed with her relationship with her roommates. That she just said this completely unbelievable thing, and she's just going with it. This is good. This is good. Life is good.
You might have even noted that Yuko, like, just almost always believes your fucking stories, which you might seem as kind of odd, but she seems to just, like, trust you.
Sweet.
Raven has determined that Tobias is okay and has come back. Did a little energy work with him, so he's emotionally very good too, and has, does not seem to be feeling the fear he did initially. And so I have assured him that everything will be fine and put him back in my room, and then I will join the other two.
He goes and huddles down underneath the heat lamp and begins to lick his eyeballs.
And then I continue to muse to myself, just trying to figure this out. Why would somebody want to attack Elsworth? He's an old man. He has enough money to live in this apartment, but they tried to burn it down, so they weren't interested in possessions. It's like they were trying to...
Another thing your 4 successes of investigation alerts you to is nothing seems to be missing. Like, you've been into his apartment several times. Like, nothing obvious is missing.
Anything else in the pockets or anything of the...
Nope. Just more dust.
No, but you notice that Yuko immediately, like, looks up and she has a concerned look on her face. One second, guys. 1 second.
All right.
Hey, know something? Yeah, please do. And I say, he's in danger. Whoever did this, they weren't interested in materials. They were interested in his life. Call the cops. Tell them that they need to have him guarded. Now.
I'll do what I can. I'll call 911 this time.
If they don't believe you, let me talk to them.
911, what's your emergency?
Oh wow, this is a major emergency. So this is the address. Um, there was a fire and some injuries, and an ambulance was here really, really quickly. And so I think that they took my neighbor. I think he was injured, and we're starting to think because we saw uh, some kind of assailant, somebody who was like after him or something. So I guess I wanted to make sure that I informed you, and maybe you could explain
Ma'am,
to me.
I think an ambulance has already arrived there.
Okay, noticing that
Right.
the conversation, she's kind of like not like getting to the point. I'm gonna just like straight up like in my hasty nature, I'm using my vice again here. I'm just gonna snatch the phone out of her hand, just like wrench it free, and I begin to just like spit words at this 911 operator, and I just say, whoever set the fire isn't interested in his belongings, isn't interested in anything except for his life. This was an attempted murder. You need to find out the hospital that he was taken to and have him under guard, or it's gonna happen again.
Okay, ma'am, please calm down. Please calm down. Can you slow down and say that again?
My name is Yuko Mayori. I'm a private investigator. The house that the fire was set to was broken into. Nothing has been taken.
Oh, she's a private investigator. This ought to be good.
I have a law. I get offended by this, and I say I have a law degree. I'm not some joke. Whoever did this is after his life. You need to have him under guard, and I'm going to make I continue to say it is your duty to have him under guard, and I'm going to make a logical arguments persuasion roll against her, if I
Okay.
may.
And because I have a hasty nature as well, I will be yelling, "Yeah, she's a lawyer."
So I said manipulation plus logical arguments, right?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Since I'm tapping into my vice, do I regain my willpower, by the way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm just going to spend the point again.
Okay.
So that brings it up to 8 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes with a 10. So, and then, so 5 successes.
Okay, that's an exceptional success. She like she hears the seriousness in your voice, and she actually starts listening. And okay, ma'am, I hear you. I understand. We they're taking care of her right now, but we will definitely send a detective by to speak with you about more about with what you saw
Okay,
or think you saw.
thank you. If you need my number to get a hold of me, I'll give it to you. And I list off my phone number for her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have that down. Thank you again, detective.
Thank you. Have a good night. And I hang up and hand the phone back to Beth.
So, was there anything else you guys wanted to do in the apartment?
The next thing I'm going to do, at this point, I'm going to go back to my apartment. And I'm going to, take my evidence and all with me. And I'm going to give Miss Riley a call to see if she answers.
She does not pick up.
Okay. I'm going to send a text message then. I say to Miss Riley, I have a case. I was wondering if I could use your lab. I'm assuming we may have something like that. We are investigators, after all.
I don't think she would have a lab. But if you want to say that you have a lab at your office,
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if she doesn't have a lab, she doesn't have a lab.
let's say that you have a lab at your office.
Okay.
This is just a small one.
And this belongs to like I can use this anytime, or I don't need to ask permission or anything?
Yeah, it belongs to you. It's your office.
Okay, then in that case, I wouldn't even send her the text message. Hey guys, come on in. Is the computer room empty, by the way? No, it's empty completely.
Yes.
Oh, then I'm just gonna go in there. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I am sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we apologize. We didn't do
No, it's okay. It's not your fault. I mean, shit. This is
What
y'all's
is
room just
Beth
as
and
much
Raven
as
doing?
mine.
We're kind of talking to each other about if
Hey,
the ambulance
do you
got
guys
there
wanna
way
help
too
me out real
fast. We're just like, huh? Well, how could it have gotten it there so fast? Did I lose track of time or something?
Well, I mean, you were pursuing that guy for several minutes.
Okay.
And then assuming you walked all the way back, it would have
Right.
taken you twice as long to get back.
Right.
I'd say the ambulance took about approximately 5 minutes to get there.
Impressive.
Yeah.
But not.
But not suspiciously impressive.
Yes,
that right?
exactly.
Okay.
So I would just I came and found them in the apartment or whatever, in Ellsworth's apartment, and was just like, kind of, what's going on? So they get me up to speed,
Yes, they
Or-
do.
or at least maybe Beth does. While Yuko is calling and texting. And so if Beth tells me about doing the the and whatever, then I would say that I would like to use my psychometry on the
Jacket?
jacket.
Okay.
These two roommates who listen to what
Hey,
I
Clay.
say, even
Do you mind doing me a
what I.
favor?
Like what?
Could you watch my stuff?
With you,
Actually,
even if
I'll probably
you're
do stuff.
crazy,
I'll
I
watch
still might be able to get something off.
it.
I'm not saying I believe everything you're saying. I'm just,
Rooms?
however,
You guys go to your room, so I don't mind locked.
more
Just talk
of
to
the
her.
believability of weird things happening. So
No, and I don't mean it as a player against you guys. I just think it's a testament to how close knit we are.
A wits plus a core. And for every success, you can ask me a single yes or no question about the item.
plus occult. I don't know. All right, I got 3 successes.
Sorry about that, Clay. I don't mean to be like rude or anything. It's just
So I can ask you yes that are listed, right?
Yes.
Um. What did I say? I rolled 3. Okay, 3 successes. So, frick.
Okay.
I suppose my first.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
Um, okay, question is based on the story that I just is did this jacket belong to a human?
No.
And then was the entity was wearing the jacket
How many successes did you say you got?
3.
Okay, cool.
Um oh my gosh.
Was that you?
Mhm.
Did you want to ask about the killing? No, the killing.
What was it the intention he wearing the kill Dr. Elsworth?
Yes.
Okay. And then say I'm gonna go with this question off the list. Am I missing something in this scene?
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
So what does this look like? Yuko and Beth scene at this moment.
So I I would picture the psychometry like just holding the like just kind of closing my eyes and feeling, and I feelings or visions or kind of be a combination of both, for um but it
Can
don't
you
see
close that?
it as like looking like anything except for me like maybe holding and closed and like a look of concentration on my face. You know what I mean? Like I don't see
Yeah.
there would be anything that you could magic or whatever,
Yeah. Your questions come to you.
they're just depending on what it is, short clip of a vision kind of a thing, or I might just like I just know that I know DB was here to kill, Dr. Ellsworth kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I picture it. I mean, that's how I do it when I use my own psychometry in person. So magic would be the same for.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm getting from this is that we used Beth's ability to try and figure out more.
Use the
Yes.
psychometry. So what she figured out is that the person Raven, sorry, Raven used it, and then what basically what Raven knows is that whatever was wearing the jacket was not human. Whatever was wearing the jacket was definitely intent on killing Dr. Ellsworth. Asked if there was anything, and the answer was no. So
I see. Well, once whatever it is realizes that he's not dead, if he isn't dead, he might be, he'll probably try and come to finish the job.
So do we know, Micah, uh, do we know like what hospital they would have taken him to?
Um, No, but you can be accurately because there's only one that's super close.
Okay. So I think I would want to go down there and see if
I think that's the best idea we have at this point. Let's go pay.
get any information.
Let's go pay the doctor a visit.
What was his condition when they left? Was he still not breathing, or
Yeah,
what
he was
did I?
still. Nothing had changed. He was still.
Okay, so I didn't manage to do anything with my
No.
CPR skills. Excellent.
So, as you begin, I assume Beth and Yuko are going with you.
Yeah, I'm
I am, yes.
definitely going.
Since Vin only has any dots in resources, I'm gonna say that she's the only one with a car.
Okay.
Transportation. Raven can't give them a ride somewhere.
Give me
Okay.
1 second. I'm gonna try to do something to get a better Wi-Fi signal. Give me 1 second.
Okay. And as you exit the apartment building, Raven is hit by vision.
Okay.
It just over you all of a sudden, and you see the door to Elsworth's room being busted open, and you hear the as your vision kind of like stumbles forward through the door, and you see Elsworth standing in his living room with a look of just terror on his face. As your viewpoint advances upon him, you see a white, almost like freak reaches out and it punches him in the stomach, and then grabs him and pushes him down into the chair where you found him. He tries to get up, but the hands just hold him down. You hear more breathing and movement behind you, and the sound of a kind of sound followed by a starts. The entity, whatever it was, continues to hold Ellsworth down in the chair as the room fills with smoke, and eventually Ellsworth stops fighting and goes still.
So, entity didn't start the fire?
There was more than one thing in
Okay,
there.
so yeah, because I'm seeing like through his point of view or whatever.
You're seeing through the viewpoint to enter the room.
Okay, and he's holding Ellsworth down the whole time, so then the fire starts behind him.
Yes.
So I can assume that there was somebody else in the room that...
Well, you heard multiple footsteps behind your viewpoint, and then as well as more like ragged breathing.
Okay.
But the vision disappears as quickly as it came on, and it's going to leave you with a condition.
Is she shook?
Do you think you would be more shaken or spooked?
I guess I would say shaken, maybe. Kind of exactly what that either one of those things means, but
No, it's just your emotional state. I'm
yeah.
looking for the conditions. They're not in an easy to find location, apparently. Yeah, so just like the intensity of this vision leaves you shaken. And is on your next roll, you're going to be taking a -2 penalty.
To anything, like anything I roll for.
Yes, until
Okay.
you voluntarily fail a roll, at which point you will gain a beat.
So I take a -2. I just keep taking a -2 until I voluntarily fail it.
Yes,
So it's just like it's a condition until I
until you resolve it, yeah.
do that.
Very good. I would like to argue with my roommate to get to drive the car.
You want to drive?
Contested!
You want to drive the car?
Yes.
Why is it that you want to drive the car so badly?
Well, I'm just really good at it.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm kind of calm, see? What if you have one of your visions while you're driving?
Okay. You can drive the car.
So you're saying you're failing on purpose? Is that what you're saying? Nudge, nudge, nudge,
I'm
nudge.
not sure that Micah is gonna let me get away with that level of cheatography, but
That's okay, I still get to drive.
I'll just let you drive, and I'll play the game as it was meant to be played. Then what is the beat again? Now what?
You need 5 beats to gain. They're how you level up.
Gotcha. Oh, beats right here.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Do we start
Okay.
with any beats? Micah, do we start with any?
Are the
No, you do not.
Okay.
Can you not hear me?
I can hear.
My connection is kind of spotty, unfortunately.
Okay. Shoot.
It's okay though. I mean, it's decent enough, so we can continue.
Hey, Mike, is the on the character sheet itself, are the little boxes like below will power? Is that like where you're saying? Because I think don't both of my powers I have to use willpower to activate, right?
Yes,
So
that is true.
okay, so I've used 2 so far. So and then I can gain by playing to my virtue or my vice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what do you gain if aspirations?
So you guys have 15 minutes. And you walk in there and risk.
One second. My connection is being real fucky right now. I'm really not a
Okay.
fan of this.
Okay.
God damn, it was working fine the other day. I do not understand what the hell the problem is. Okay. Let's just try to continue.
It seemed better
It's
in
just
the other room.
I know, but my roommates are in there now, and they were talking, and
Yeah.
it's just fucked. I don't really have anywhere to go to
Well,
have any private space besides where I'm at, so.
yeah. We'll carry on. So yeah, you get there, you see the nurse.
So I would say that I would go up to the nurse, but I feel like one of my hasty counterparts would do it before I got there because
Yeah,
I'm the only one who
Yuko.
doesn't have a hasty
Yeah,
vice. So
I'm gonna say Yuko would just like strut herself right up to the fucking nurse's station. This real, serious tone. She begins to just explain the situation. And she's going to say, I need to know the location of a patient. His name is Dr. Elsworth.
I can look that up for you. She types on the computer. He just came in.
Where is he at?
Did he just come in?
Yes.
And her eyes kind of widen a little bit, and she looks at you, and she's like, you may want to sit down.
I just look at her and and I just say with this just almost intimidating look, and I just look at him almost unfazed, perhaps, and I say he's dead.
Yes, he was pronounced dead 5 minutes ago.
I close my eyes. Of course he's dead.
I'm so sorry.
You have nothing to apologize for.
I want to see him. I want to see him.
He's
What can I do?
well, it's against our policy. Are you family?
Yes, I'm family.
Make another subterfuge and manipulation.
I'm going to assist, and I'm just going to slyly say that I just lean into the nurse, and I'm going to say, Dr. Ellsworth pretended to get around.
Wow.
Okay, so first Yuko needs to make a persuasion manipulation.
Okay. 1 second. 1, 2. Persuasion, you said? Manipulation?
And just because this is somewhat hard to believe, it's going to be at a -2.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Well, that's just a nurse yelling in the background for, trying to get that linen cleans. Anyways, I have 0 successes.
Offset that. Oh. What does Beth do?
You had to roll.
Yeah. So I'll punch her a little bit, since
You'll punch her?
Well, not the
Not the nurse.
my
but
roomie for suggesting that my dad's a big old horn dog. It's a gentle punch. It's a pissed off punch, but she's a good friend.
One bash
And then I will-
damage. I'm joking.
To play along with this and make it seem more genuine, I look at her and I say, hey, it's true.
All right, so that's 6.
Fucking hell.
Hey. 2 10s. No, 3 total. Son of a bitch.
So she's just sort of identification, or
Not that says I am a daughter.
Yeah, what kind of identification do you carry around that says my biological parents are these people?
it's against our
Okay. Seeing that this isn't getting anywhere, Yuko is going to try a different approach. She says this. I fucking hate the fact that this is public.
Porn music playing all
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
of a sudden.
Wait.
God damn it. Okay.
Whatever gets her by, okay?
So, anyways, I'm going to say that I look at her again. Look, and I lean towards the nurse, and I show my identification as an investigator, and I say to her, "It is very likely that Dr. Elsworth is entangled in a murder case. Being able to see the body, even if it's just under your supervision,
A murder
is
case?
extremely helpful.
No, he died of smoke inhalation.
Because somebody set his house on fire purposefully. You heard me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. And she said, "Are you working for the police?"
I am working with them, yes.
Okay, give me a subterfuge. Either presence or manipulation.
Okay, I'm gonna go with manipulation. Apparently, Yuko is very manipulative. I'm gonna apply a point of will as well.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 die. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. 3 of them are 10s.
Successes. So
4 successes. Or no, it's 5 total actually.
nice, exceptional success, isn't it? It is against our policy, but I suppose we can make. Can go.
God damn it! I'm sorry, Micah. This internet connection is really fucking me up right now. What did you say?
She said it's against our policy, but if you're with the police, we can of course make an exception. Let me just go get the doctor.
Please do.
She brings back a tall, bald man in a doctor's coat. He walks up to you and shakes your hand. Hello, I'm Dr. Coldwater. I was with the patient during his last moments. So it's a shame we couldn't have got him here sooner.
I agree. I wish that we could have met under different circumstances, Doctor. Could you show us to the body?
Yes, I can show you to the body. These people aren't with you, are they? They're not with the police.
No, they are not. If it's only myself that is allowed, then that is completely understandable. They were just very close friends of the doctor.
I understand, but I'm afraid they'll have to wait out here.
Well,
I look towards.
can we
I just like look.
just like can we see a door?
I flash a look towards Beth, just saying, in a way, just like conveying like I'm sorry, and in another way, just conveying like just shut up. She gets
follow
these
me.
kinds of looks from Yuko all the time, so she knows how it goes.
So he leads you to the emergency room where Ellsworth is still laid out on the table. He has a ventilator on his face, and there's a heart monitor that's still going.
I just shake my head. close was I to the doctor?
I don't know. How close were you?
Let's roll a d10. Let's roll a d10 to find out. I'm gonna say 10 is extremely close and 1 is like not close at all. And I got a 6.
Like you attended one semester of his class because he only taught for one semester, and then he disappeared for like 2 years,
Yeah, so not,
and then showed up for a few months and was kind of just a regular person you saw in your life.
yeah, and this isn't my first dead body.
Came over and had dinner a few times.
This isn't my first dead body. I just shake my head, and then I quickly begin to just look him over for anything, any sort of clue. I look towards the doctor first, and I say, "Do you have any gloves that I could get?"
Right over there.
Thank you. And I take a pair of the gloves on, and I begin to just like look over his body, looking for anything that might give me a detail. Do I need to make an investigation roll?
No, you do not. You find a little bit of that powder on his shirt, but other than that, you don't see anything unusual or out of place. Everything lines up with him dying from smoke inhalation.
I look towards the doctor and I say, were you able to get him even for a moment? Did he say?
No, he was unconscious the whole time. He wasn't breathing when we brought him in.
I see. That's unfortunate. Thank you, doctor. But I'm afraid this hasn't yielded anything useful. And I take off the
Do
gloves.
you happen to know of any next of kin?
Would you go know of any next of kin? Do I?
No, not that you know of. Potentially his nurse?
He did have a nurse, now that I think about it. And then it strikes me that... Where was Richard? He should have been there to take care of it, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, he's a live-in nurse, so he like lives at that apartment.
Yeah, I look at the doctor, and I just have this, like, you know the look that House gives one of his like subordinates when they like give him a really good clue to a patient? It's basically like that look, like mouth like half open, with just this like shocked sort of expression. And she says, he has a nurse, but his nurse wasn't there. And he's a live-in nurse. I look at him and I say,
The doctor seeing your the thing with your eyes, I forgot the name for it.
Sunbok.
And seeing how just like intently you're staring at him with your mouth open, he kind of is like, and he kind of like takes a half step back.
I notice this and I say, he has a nurse, but it looks like his nurse might be involved in all of this. Thank you, doctor, but I have to go and start my investigation. And I like very quickly toss the gloves into the fucking trash disposal. And I look towards him and I say, if the police ask, tell them my name and they can call me, they have my number.
But aren't you here with the police?
I'm just an assistant. I don't technically work with the force.
I see. He starts to narrow his eyes suspiciously.
I look at him for a second. You don't believe me?
I was under the impression that you were working for the police.
I am
investigating for them.
I am working for them. But I'm not part of the force.
Oh, okay, I see.
Does that clarify?
It does.
Alright then. Thank you, Doctor.
I'll be sure to let them know you came by.
Thank you. And have a good night. And I very quickly make my way back to Beth and Raven. And as I'm like storming out of the doctor's office, right? Like when Yuko like really starts to like get into these investigations, she just has this like look, right? Like this, just like
Mm-hmm.
almost like possessed sort of smile on her face. Her teeth sort of like showing her eyes, just like you know, like squinched in intense concentration. She seems almost like joyously happy for somebody who just lost somebody.
So you regroup with Beth and Raven in the waiting room.
What the hell are you smiling at?
I found a clue. Where was his nurse? Where was Richard? He wasn't at the house, was
I don't know. You guys got to the house before I did.
he? I looked to Raven. I'm right, right? He wasn't there, was
I didn't see him.
he? Well, seeing as how he should have stuck around, he wouldn't have just ditched the doctor. It's his paycheck, after all. That
Well,
tells
maybe
me
he went to the grocery store or something.
it could be, but that's one hell of a coincidence, don't you think? That he just
It's also
happened.
odd that he would have been going to the grocery store at midnight.
Yeah, I mentioned that that would be one hell of a coincidence. And I look at Raven and I say, who shops at midnight to go grocery shopping? I could wait.
Somebody who doesn't like crowds of people.
Come on, I don't like crowds of people, but you don't see me grocery shopping at midnight, Raven.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he had heartburn. Had to go to the gas station to get some antacid.
Something tells me, my gut, I guess, I could use some antacid for that. It's just burning, and it's telling me that he has something to do with this.
I don't know. I saw what happened, and those things were not human. And I did not see or get any feeling about Richard being involved.
At the very least, he could have a clue. I mean, we don't have anything else to go off of at this point in time.
Yeah.
Now the
I don't
question
suppose we
is,
can't. Did he have a phone? Is that something we can get a hold of?
Well, I mean, he lived there, so he has to come back eventually, right? Would have to.
Unless he somehow got turned into a weird out. This is weird.
let's go, let's go back to the apartments. Let's see if we can find any information.
Okay.
Okay, so Raven or Beth drives you back to your apartment.
Okay, I'm going to. Who is the most tech savvy among us? That's
Beth,
Beth, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna say Beth. Can you do a background check? See if you can find any information about Richard. Well, do we know his last name? Like
Morgan.
Richard Morgan. Can you see if you can find any good information about him on the net? Here, I'll give you.
Yeah,
some.
but it's not like this isn't like the television shows where people just go and get police knowing how to get in there. So, but
No,
yeah, I can do
but
something. Let me
no, and I need to ask.
let me
I need
run
to
a
ask
news
Mike a
game in.
question real quick. Actually, being that
What was that?
I am a private investigator, would I have access to any sort of like public records about, you know, criminal things of that nature, like a database I could look into?
Yeah, that you would definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna write down on a notepad. Just scribble this down. This website. God damn it. One second. I'm gonna scribble this down along with my credentials to log in. I'm gonna say, I press it into Beth's hands. You can use this website. It's a database for looking up backgrounds of people. Your employer would use this. If there's anything that he may have done, any sort of criminal activity, anything at all, it'll show up. Do a search for social media as well. Anything that you could think of.
Okay.
I'm gonna go look and see if I can find anything else at the scene.
Cool. I'll take a look at this. I'm gonna make it my bitch.
You find out pretty quickly that Richard Morgan definitely does not have a criminal record.
Good. Can we find out if he's a, registered nurse, or what letters he has before or after his name?
Holy shit, are you guys there?
I don't.
Well, that's good. That's a good sign.
The company's name is Integrity, and you find his information listed on their personnel, their website.
Okay. Need to know. I don't suppose there's a phone number listed for him.
Cell phones, as well as an email.
All right. Well,
And
I will send that message.
nearby.
Hey, real quick, Ben.
Yeah.
Um, Ben, if you're not gonna use your own Discord, not Discord, your own account, do you think it'd be possible to disconnect it? I think it might help my internet a little bit here because I'm getting real spotty. Less connections means less stress. Awesome. Okay, hopefully that'll make things a little bit better.
Okay, you got. I got a phone. I got a cell phone, and I got an email.
His
Give
phone-
me a computer. Yes.
All right. Some will, so I can always succeed. And make sure he believes in me. You guys, how many extra dice?
Plus, for you.
Reloading.
Give me
4.
Discovered that in the past 24 hours, he is department.
Can you guys hear any background music, by the way? Okay. It's not too bad, though. Like, is it tolerable if I just leave my mic on? Okay. Got it. As long as it's not, like, overpowering. Anyways, continuing on. Okay. I'm just... So real quick then. Real quick. Because my connection was all kinds of fucked up, and I think I fixed it. Can you run by me again exactly what we figured out? Because it was, like, dropping in and out the entire time. Okay. I'm going to point that out. That's very suspicious. That he would change his address within the last 24 hours, unless he just moved here because of his job. There's no telling. What about the previous address? Where was he from? Do we know? That makes it doubly suspicious. Unless he got his own place. Damn, this is... Have we tried calling him? Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Beth, can you set up a synthesizer for a voice? Make it sound like I'm somebody else? Is that possible? Okay. It doesn't matter who. Just make my voice sound like somebody other than me. Perfect. We're gonna give Richard a call once you get that set up. Yuko has some skill in computers because she assists. Okay, okay. Okay. Intelligence computer, so that's 3 die. I have 1 success, it's a 10. And I'm going to roll again. 1 success. Wow. I notice like a flaw in her synthesis program, and I'm like, hey, let me see the keyboard for a second. And no, it's fine. I understand freeware and all. And I quickly make a correction, for my brief foray into the computer fields. I really do not have very much skill, and I managed to correct the error. might be asking you for help. So, who did you make me sound like anyway? What kind of person? Of course. I just look at her and I just shake my head. Of course you did, Beth. Of course you did. Good job. Does she talk like this? Okay. So, activating the synthesizer, I dial in Richard's phone number over the straight to voicemail. Okay. I'm gonna leave a message. We're doing this over a VoIP as well, so it's not my phone number. Like it just rings like once. Okay. I look at the others. He didn't take my call. Interesting. How far away is that address from us? The, it's just a little bit away? Let's go pay Richard a visit. Let's go pay Richard a visit. Do I have any money? I'm gonna give her $5 for gas. Okay, and we make our way to Richard's domain. I look at Beth for a moment. We're dealing with sand people. You never know when you might need it. What was it old Ben said about sand people in Star Wars, Beth? They frighten easily? Or something like that? But they always return. Oh, don't worry. I don't plan on doing very many illegal things. Nothing I can't get myself out of. I don't want to use the gun unless I have to, anyways. I'm saving it for an occasion. Yep. Very special occasion. Anyways, let's go. so we can kind of see inside of the buildings. Do I see anything that catches my eye? What is he doing? Either he's watching a horror movie, or he's guilty. And I say definitely guilty. Let's go. Oh, I will. I will make a wits control. Is this a danger roll? Is it a... Okay. Because if it is, I'm about to wits composure the fuck out of it. Okay. Wits composure. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7 die. And I'm not going to apply willpower this time. One, two, three, 4 successes. All of them are 10s. Holy shit. 5, 6 successes with another 10. 6 successes total. Holy fuck. Okay, I take note of this, but I don't really, say anything. But it does kind of weird me out. And I'm gonna hastily... I'm gonna just start, full-on sprint towards Richard's door. And I'm going to wind myself doing this, because I am extremely out of shape. Does this incite my vice? Okay, I'm gonna yell to Beth. He's making a break for it. Run, get him. And I'm saying this as I'm fucking running. I'm gonna run after him too. Also, question. When I do a vice, that only gives me 1 point of willpower, right? Okay, just making sure. Yeah, and at this point I'm also going to draw my pistol off my side. And continue to run after him. So yeah, we're going after his ass. Am I at a disadvantage, inherently? Okay. I have nothing... Okay. Here's the thing. I have nothing in athletics, and only 1 point in stamina. So, I have no die. So that means I have to roll a chance die, right? Unless I apply willpower. Fuck it, I'm just gonna roll a chance die. I got a 0, or not a 0, a 4. So, nothing on my end. Holy fuck. Here, I'm gonna mute my mic real quick and then test if it's mine. Muted. Okay, let me try pushing my mic back further. Is that better? Can you hear me okay as well? Okay. Do continue. Do I catch up? It's a role play thing. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm fine. No. I'm talking to somebody just came in, like, talking. It's fine. I look over at him. I'm okay. And I walk up and I say, "Where were you?" In this, like, very accusatory tone. Yeah, where were you? You weren't there. Do you even know what's happening? And I'm watching him very intently. Like, I'm trying to, like, see if he's trying to hide something. Could I do an investigation roll instead? That be possible? Okay. Okay. So empathy and what? Wits. So 4, and then I have nothing in empathy. So 3 die. Okay. I will apply a point of willpower. Okay, you ready for what I got, Micah? Okay, 3 successes. One of them is a 10. Rolling again. 3 successes total. I'm gonna play dumb. Knowing that he's hiding something, I'm gonna say, yeah, Elsworth is dead. Somebody came into his apartment, burned the place up, and he choked to death. He's gone. We came here because we thought that they might be coming after you next. The cops are in a frenzy right now, trying to find out anything about who may have set the fire. Okay. Immediately, Yuko is going to. She's gonna raise her gun and aim it straight towards him, and she's gonna say, "Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands in the air, and face towards me. Do not make any sudden moves, or I will shoot you. And she's just going to stare him down. Yeah, I guess me and Beth are trying to intimidate the fuck out of him. For as intimidating as we could be. So how are we doing that? How are we doing this, Micah? How are we doing this? I'm gonna look towards them. Go back in your apartment. This man's a criminal. He could hurt you. I have the situation under control. I'm gonna, like, still holding my gun and aiming towards. I'm gonna say, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Still keeping a hand, like, on my gun, not letting go of it. I'm gonna get my badge out from my PI. I'm gonna flash it towards them. I'm a private investigator. I have the situation under control. Return to your apartments. Could I make a composure check instead to try and like fake them out? Would that be possible? Okay. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. I have nothing in intimidate, but I have my Sanpaku, so that cancels the negative out. So 3 die, and I'm gonna apply a point of willpower again. Really don't do my willpower quick. Okay, so that's 6 total. I have 2 successes. Does the fact that I have a gun help at all? Okay, I'm gonna roll 2 more die. No more successes, so just the 2 I had from before. Correct. One second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Damn it. This is fucking bullshit. Need to keep this slightly open. Need to keep this slightly open. Just... Okay. Continuing on, I immediately turn my attention back on Richard. And I say, put your hands in the air. Do not make any sudden movements, or I will shoot you. You will slowly get onto the ground, and you will lay still, and you will follow my directions. Do you understand? Yeah, And I know that I'm putting you under a fucking citizen's arrest. I have 2 witnesses here, basically where you confess to your own fucking involvement in all of this. So get on the fucking ground. I look to Beth and I say, Beth, you got something to tie him up with. I don't care if it's a goddamn Ethernet cord. Go ahead and do it. Does Yuko would have a belt. I'm just gonna like unbuckle my belt and I just throw it to her and I say, use this. Keep that slightly open. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that. Arms. Not here. Not here. We can question him back. We can question him somewhere. Now, get him tied up. Let's go. I don't like this place. Hey, give me another second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, what did I miss? Sorry about that. Okay, so we got him tied up, right? Okay. 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 While this is happening, I'm gonna walk over to him and I'm gonna basically like force him to his feet. I'm gonna say to him, not like physically, but I'm gonna say to him, you're gonna stand up now and you're gonna walk to our car. If you try to run, I will shoot you. All right. Okay. Can we just assume like maybe she's in like stunned silence? All right. And we make it back to the car? Okay. So once we're in the car, I would look at I would look to Raven and I would say, take us somewhere out of the way. And I put particular emphasis on that as I say that, just trying to intimidate him that much more. Let's go to a park. Parks are nice. Don't you think so, Richard? Oh, I'm gonna make you dig your own grave. I mean, it's only right that you give your life in exchange for Elsworth's, right? A life for a life, after all. Then maybe you should more carefully consider your actions. Let's go. And I give Raven a wink, trying not to let Richard in on his facts. I say to Raven, you really have a good sense of taste in these things. You couldn't have picked a better place. And I say, all right, let's get out of the car. So are we in like a dirt, an area with dirt, by the way? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say to Richard. Okay. So here's what you're gonna do for me. All right. As long as you tell me what I want to, as long as you tell me what I want to know, I won't do a thing to you. So my first question, who are they? Who are these people you're talking about? What? How did you contact them? Like through a number? Do you have the number? When was the last time they contacted you? Give me the exact dates of every time you recall talking to them. What day? Okay. I'm gonna start like, I put my pistol away at this point. I keep it to where I can like quickly snatch it back out if I need to, and I take out a pen and paper, like a pen and pad, and I start taking down notes. And I say to Beth, get his phone. Does it have a password? Okay. I look at him as he tells her the password. Good boy, you're catching on quick. I might have to give you a Scooby snack after we're done. All right, so I take the dates and the times that he gives me, and I tell Beth, here's what I'm saying basically. Beth, go to those dates and times in his call log and write down the numbers for each of them. All right? So, they contacted you through your phone number. How else did you get a hold of them? Email? Always through the phone. Okay. How did you make initial contact with them? They just called you out of the blue? Interesting. I see. Why did you change your address within the last 24 hours? What, the apartment? I look around. As he's doing this, I purposefully drown him out as I just very quickly look around to make sure there is nobody creeping up on us. Because as soon as he said they offered him that apartment, I'm getting some seriously whacked vibes. So okay. I'm gonna look at him and I'm gonna say to him, here's what you're gonna do. Right now, you are an accomplice to a crime. Unfortunately, though, you don't have the benefit of staying quiet. Those people back at that apartment, something tells me that they're involved in this too. So here's what you're gonna do. When we're done with our little conversation here, you're gonna call the police and you're gonna turn yourself in. God, what's going on? What's going on exactly? Okay, it's quiet now, so I'm gonna continue. You don't have the benefit of keeping quiet now because it's very likely that they're gonna come after you. They have to keep loose ends tied, after all. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what you want. But if they find you, you're really shit out of luck, kid. I'm gonna try to convince him. Otherwise, listen. If you work with the cops and you tell them everything you know, they'll give you a plea deal. Your sentence will be lessened significantly. They might even let you off the hook if you show enough remorse. It's not like you murdered the man with your own hands, after all, right? Okay, can I make a manipulation? And I'm doing this out of love for this man. So I'm trying to incite my virtue. Like I'm genuinely trying to be kind towards him. So I'm gonna do logical arguments and so I'm gonna do a persuasion manipulation roll. 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna apply a point of willpower as well. So that's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 die. 1 success. One success. Doesn't matter to me whether you do or not. All I'm doing is trying to act in your best interest. You are the master of your own fate. What is it? Yeah, I did see the people there. They're kind of fucking weird. In the basement. I look to Beth and I say, well, I think we just found our next place to investigate. And I'm going to say to him, where's this urn at? Do you know? Hit it. I see. Okay. I'm gonna look at him one last time, and I'm gonna say, I know you said you'd call the cops, but frankly, I think you're fucking lying. So I just want you to know, right now, trying to get you to fuck up your life. I'm trying to save your life. But you are the master of your own fate. So do what you will. Untie him, Beth. Untie him. We're done. I see. Okay. I gotcha. I'm taking notes about all this on my notepad, by the way. As I put it away, I say, get out of here. And if you know what's good for you, you'll take my advice. Let's go. You don't want to go back there. Okay, we'll take you back to your car. But if you really know what's good for you, you're not going to go back in that apartment. Let's go. I stare at the building some more. Hey Beth, can you do an internet search for me? I want you to look into the history of this building. I'm going to say do a search concerning any sorts of crimes in this area specifically. Try to get it as close to this building as possible. And also, do a search concerning why the congregations died off. See if you can find anything. I'm going to try to, at this... Yeah, as she's doing that, I'm going to take out my... By the way, since I incited my virtue, do I regain my willpower? I would say that, like, exposing my... Like, that entire scene was risky as fuck. I mean, I know I'm being kind of meta here, but those people know our faces now. I mean, if the answer is really no, I'm okay with that. Hey, man. Hey, intentions are the only thing that matters with love, really. I mean, I did him a favor. I genuinely did him a favor. Whether he realizes it or not, like, that was Yuko's love. Hey, that's fine. I mean, if the answer is no, the answer is no. I'm just arguing my case. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I regain my point of willpower. Okay. In that case, passion can be a vice. Yeah, I got you. So, anyways, no willpower gain? Okay. Okay. While Beth is trying to, like, do those internet searches, I'm gonna try one more time to call my master at, 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. I just like in frustration, I almost like fling my phone. I don't like let it out of my hand. I just like, like you're just like in a sigh, and you're just like let it just like your hand just go down to your side. I'm just like, fuck. Of course you don't answer when I need you. Did you find anything, Beth? What you got? Okay. Um, any like recent criminal activity in the area? Any de- any details on that woman who had her throat cut? Hmm. I see. So none of these things are likely to factor into this building. No clues. I'm like saying all of this out loud as well. That's another of Yuko's possibly annoying habits. She vocalizes her thoughts all the time. So, the only way that we could possibly get more out of this building is to go inside. But frankly, I don't want to do that. That's a stupid idea. So, we're going to go to the museum instead. As soon as we can, and we're going to try to get that urn that he was talking about. Hey, I'm gonna consider for a moment. Would I have to commit a crime to get these vases? Like, even if if to get the urn, would I have to commit a crime? Okay, but once I'm there and in the building, would what I would be doing be considered criminal? Okay, this is. I just like sigh, exasperation. I'm just like, oh, why did I choose this line of work? They would expect for a thief to come at night. That's cliche. So it would probably be easier in a way to rob them during the day to get those vases. Hmm. What time does the museum open up? Okay. Let's go get some sleep. And we'll do this first thing in the morning. Yeah, I agree. Also, if we could, I don't have much longer. Could we possibly stop it there? Okay, so we drive back to the apartment? Okay. As we enter in, Yuko makes absolutely certain to lock all of the doors and the windows, and close the blinds as well. He gives you some more, Tobias, because it's just. Okay, I say to Beth, before I go to bed, I'm like, in the process of going to bed, getting undressed, like putting on my night clothes and shit, and I just basically like yell through the apartment, Beth, before you go to sleep, see if you can find out anything about those numbers that we got from him. All right? We took, yeah, we asked him like, yeah. So we're gonna like try to research into those numbers. Yep. Fuck. Of course, some fuck shit would happen. God damn it. It's not loving. I know you just like completely exposed yourself to the enemy, and that you're doing this for nobody's sake in particular, but it's not loving. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now.